Hi, this is Tamsin Asta, and today I wanted to talk to you about the importance of courage and how we use courage in our lives and how we can learn not to be completely dominated by it. So the word courage comes from the word cœur, which means heart in French. It's about finding that strength within. And a lot of the media around fear and courage, right, the way these two balance together, has focused on the amygdala, right, this more primitive or less evolved part of the brain which gets really fired up and activated when we are in a situation which sparks fear. One of the things I want to talk to you about today was how we can learn to push past that and fight through it and activate the parts of our brain, the parts of our system that will allow us to push through. So there's been some interesting research around fear and how we navigate it and how we balance it. And it seems that there is a sort of dual process, a process of dealing with the build-up of fear in the amygdala. You know, you start to sweat, you get the shortness of breath, the dry mouth, all of those symptoms that we're aware of, right? And then there's a part of our brain that goes, hang on a second, we can navigate through this. This doesn't have to define us. This doesn't have to be something that we need to respond to. So we're dealing with this kind of back and forth, right? The amygdala, the less evolved part of the brain, which is going, panic, 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 run away, run away. And then the part of our brain that goes, come on, you can push through, you can deal with the fear. And I've been dealing with this myself a little bit in the last few weeks. I've given my first draft of a book to an editor who's going to do developmental editing, so she's going to help me figure out whether what I'm saying is coherent and consistent and is a good story. And I've hired my first assistant so I can really focus more on my zone of genius and stop doing the stuff that I can do but is not really the stuff that is really lights me on fire and is, you know, the stuff that I'm really good at. And I'm launching an online interview series, which means I'm reaching out to a whole load of experts around this field of the daily rituals of prosperity. And prosperity, I'm thinking about, it's my dog barking really loudly in the backyard. No doubt she's seen a squirrel or a skunk. Anyway, the daily rituals of prosperity, and that's around the idea of, you know, how we can be prosperous in our lives, not just our financial prosperity, but our health, our relationships, our spiritual prosperity. You know, are we doing stuff in the world that we're excited about and engaged by? So, courage. How do we cultivate that? The first thing to think about when you cultivate courage is this idea that I came across on a website, a guy called Steve Pavlina, and he talks about how we can construct a fear hierarchy, right? So if, say, your thing is hiring somebody, you know, you break down these steps into 10 things, with the least fearful being number 1, and then you work to do it. So number 1, can I check that off? Number 2, can I check it off? And each one is progressively more stressful, more fear-inducing. So you build yourself up, and that fits with that psychological way of dealing with fears. So, you know, if you're frightened of spiders, I remember studying this as an undergrad, you know, start by looking at pictures of spiders and getting used to looking at the pictures, and then maybe hold a pretend or a fake one, and then, you know, you build yourself up until you're dealing with the real fear, right? The other approach to dealing with fear is to really dive into it and learn more about it, so really zone into knowledge around it. So if, say, for example, you are fearful of, I don't know what are you fearful of? Pick that thing and then study it, learn more about it. Maybe your fear is about going out in business on your own. Maybe you are stuck in a corporate job and you hate it. You hate being a cog in a wheel. But the idea of not having security, not having a 401k, not having any kind of health insurance freaks the living crap out of you. So what do? Go and research what it takes to set up on your own. Talk to people who've set up businesses on their own. Look at what the insurance is required for that. Look at how you can get your own health insurance. Look at how you're going to get clients. All of those sorts of things. Dive into and gather the knowledge, right? So there's 2 ways that you can deal with fear. Thanks for watching. Tamsin Asta.